Hello everyone, my name is Anurag Deshpande. I am going to show you how to use the FEI SEM here at the Con Center to perform electron backscatter diffraction analysis, or EBSD as it is usually called. This analysis is a very useful tool in understanding and characterizing the microstructure of components which are crystalline in nature. So the first step is to click XT Microscope Server. To enter your username and password. We will home the stage, but we will do it without homing the rotation. So I have unchecked this box and then I just hit yes. So the stage will move back, it will tilt, and it will come back again to its original position. And that's when we know it has homed. It will also clear this pop-up that you're seeing right now on the screen. So now that the stage has homed and it is back to its original position, we will vent the chamber by clicking vent here. Click yes for this message. I will go ahead and open the valve for the nitrogen tank. Make sure that the pressure is close to 5. When the vacuum chamber has completely vented, you should be able to give a light tug on the door and the door should slide open. So now I'll just close the valve on the nitrogen tank. Typically when you open the chamber, you will find this stage mounted in the SEM. Since we are going to use it for EBSD, we are going to have to take this stage off and mount a different stage. Undo this bolt right here to take this off and this off. Just use this driver to undo these bolts. Take the stage off. The next step is to mount this stage in the SEM. It has threads at the bottom, so all you have to do is insert the stage in the hole in the center and just rotate clockwise. As soon as you feel that it is snug, you can stop. You don't have to tighten it too much. So now we are going to mount the sample holder into the stage. First, just a quick note about the sample holder itself. This holder has a 45-degree angle on it. Eventually, we are going to further tilt the SEM stage by 25 degrees more, so that the total angle that the sample makes is going to be 45 plus 25, which is 70 degrees. We need that because the EBSD detector has been optimized to acquire maximum signal at 70 degrees angle. So now I'm going to mount the sample holder onto the stage that we installed. We want to make sure that the sample is facing this way towards the EBSD detector. The detector is going to move closer towards the sample in the next step so that it can acquire maximum signal from the sample. So I'll just go ahead and mount the sample holder onto the stage. We will just gently screw the set screw in until it is snug, and this should hold the sample holder properly on the stage. Close the chamber. Gently push it and hit thumb on the screen so that the vacuum pump starts pumping air out of the chamber. For EBSD analysis, one of the most important steps is the sample prep step. For sample prep, you want to have your sample metallographically polished really well. The typical polishing sequence is you start off with a 240 grit silicon carbide abrasive paper, and you gradually move up in grit size until you get to about 1200 grit. Post that, you would want to use diamond slurry, maybe which is dissolved in water or alcohol. And the final step is polishing with colloidal silica. But for EBSD, you would also want to go a step further and maybe use vibratory polishing or ion beam polishing in order to get a very smooth surface which is devoid of any cracks and also which is free of any surface plastic deformation that you might have introduced into the sample when you cut a cross section of the sample before you began the polishing process. And also you might want to embed your sample in an epoxy puck before you start your whole polishing process. Once this icon here is green, we can press the HV or high voltage button and unpause the scanning. I'm just going to go ahead and click auto brightness contrast. The next step is to find the sample and focus on it. So I see that this is my sample. I will just go ahead and magnify the image a bit and try focusing onto the sample. So what I'm doing here is just going ahead and magnifying the image, changing the working distance by right clicking the mouse button and dragging left or right to increase or decrease the working distance. I'm just trying to find a feature on the sample so that it is easier for me to focus. Once I have the feature, I will go ahead and click on this button which says link Z to forward. What that is going to do is it is going to make the working distance the same as the Z height. Right now if you see, Z is at 5 but our working distance is 17. We want both of these values to be the same after we have focused the sample. So I'll just go ahead and click this button. I will hit OK, and now you can see that the working distance and the Z value are very close to each other. Working distance is 17, Z value is 16.9. Now that this step is done, we know our sample is somewhat in focus. We can choose an area on the sample that we need to look at. Now that we have chosen an area on the sample, we can go ahead and raise the Z stage to about 12 millimeters. That's the height that the detector has been optimized to get maximum signal from the sample. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter 12 and hit enter. As I hit enter, we should see the Z stage moving up. Now that the stage has moved up, we are going to have to refocus our sample. After we have done that, you can see that the working distance has changed again. So I'll again go ahead and hit link Z forward, change the working distance to 12 again. Hopefully this time we get a focused sample. Now we will go ahead and tilt our sample by 25 degrees. As I mentioned before, the angle the sample makes will have to be 70 degrees. We have already put it on a 45 degree angle stage, so we just need to tilt it by 25 degrees more in order to get that 70 degree angle. So I'm just going to enter 25. And now we have to find our region of interest again, actually, and zoom in and do the focusing. Once we are done with that, we can go in to scan and then hit external here. The objective of doing this is to give the scanning control to the EBSD computer. So I'll just go ahead and hit external. Once I do that, you should see external written on all the 3 panels on the display. After we see external written on all the window panes, we move on to the EBSD computer. The first step is to open the team software. To just double click on it, you will hear a sound that the EBSD detector will make. That just tells you that the software is able to talk to the detector. Now you have to enter your username and password. And hit login. Once you have hit logged in, you can either open an old project that you were working on or create a new project. Right now I'm just going ahead and create a new project. So I just hit new project, enter the name of the project. You can enter a sample name if you want to, and just hit OK. We will move on to this icon here and select EBSD from the drop down. After that, we will click on this triangle right here, go into image area. Now what we have to ensure is that the KV displayed here has to match the KV that is displayed on the SEM computer. So right now the HV high voltage on the SEM computer is at 15. So we will change the KV to match what it is on the SEM computer. It was 15, so I'll just go ahead and enter 15. We will do the same thing with the magnification as well. The magnification right now is 689 on the SEM computer. I will go ahead and change that as well. Now we have to go back to this icon, select EDS, and then move over to this triangle again. You might have to scroll up or down to find spectrum collection, and here you will have to change the working distance to match what it was on the SEM computer. So the working distance on the SEM computer right now is 13.7. Change the working distance here to 13.7 as well. Hit enter. Now we go back to the EBSD pane. We go to this icon, click on EBSD, and then do point analysis. This is a very important step for you to know whether your sample has been polished properly or not. If you click point analysis, these options will open up. The first one is image area. When you click that, you will see a pop-up which says camera is not inserted. Hit insert. That should move the EBSD detector towards your sample, and you should also hear. You can see the detector is moving towards the sample. It will stay away from your sample, and that is why we also need to ensure that the sample or the stage is not too big. If it is too big, there is a good chance that the detector will hit the stage or your sample itself. Once the detector has been completely inserted, you will see an image of your sample. The image might appear to be different from what it is on the SEM screen. This software corrects the image for the angle of inclination of the sample. Remember, our sample is at 70 degrees and the SEM is actually seeing a projection of your sample, and it is automatically correcting it for that angle of inclination. If you want to see an image that is similar to what you see in the SEM image, you can just click on this triangle. You can go to image area tab and you can uncheck tilt correction. Once you do that, it should take one more image, and this image should look exactly the same as what you see on the SEM screen. So this is what we are seeing on the SEM screen, and as you can see on the EBSD screen as well, both the images are the same. Now click essentially on any point on your sample. It will automatically start optimizing the EBSD camera. It will subtract the background after this, and it will give you a Kikuchi pattern. This is the Kikuchi pattern. You can see that it has been indexed already, and the lines on the Kikuchi pattern have been identified by the computer software. You can see that the confidence interval, the CI value here is 0.82. Typically you would want this to be higher than 0.5. It just tells you that your sample has been properly polished and you are getting a good signal from your sample. After this, you can close this pattern. You can do this and repeat the process for a couple of points on the sample, just to know that the whole surface of your sample has been polished properly. Just close that window, click on some other spot on your sample, and it will work on generating a Kikuchi pattern and again indexing it. After we have verified that we have good confidence interval for our sample, we can go to phase list. The default phases are FCC and BCC. I know I am using a nickel test sample, so it is FCC. So I'll just go ahead and delete the BCC phase. I'll click on BCC, I'll just remove phase. If you have a hunch that your sample might have some other phases, you can just click on the particular elements that your sample might include. Click search. You will see a list of phases that will appear in search results. You can scroll through that, click on any of the phases, and then just add the phase by clicking this arrow right here, so that when the machine maps your sample, it will look for the phases that you have added as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK after that, since I know FCC is the only phase that is going to be in my sample. The next step is to go to mapping and select the region of interest on your sample. You can use the box here and you can move it around to place it wherever you want on the sample and hit collect map. You can choose the resolution. If you go on to medium or fine resolution, the number of points at which the data will be collected increases. So the time it requires for your sample to be completely scanned will also increase. Right now we will just use the default medium resolution, and in the camera setting we will just use the fast scanning. After that, just hit collect map. Now it should start collecting a map of your sample, and the end result hopefully is a pattern that shows you the grain structure of the sample. Just in case you hit collect map and you do not get the Kikuchi patterns that you want, stop the scanning and go to this triangle again here, find the EBSD camera tab, go to this drop down right here, click on fast or standard, and then hit optimize. So you will see a pop-up again which will start optimizing the camera. Once it is done optimizing the camera, you should see a Kikuchi pattern which is distinct with distinct lines. Once you have that, you can get collect map again, and it should start scanning your sample from the top. It should also show you how much time it is going to take for it to complete the scan. This shows that this is going to take 5 hours and 51 minutes. That is a lot of time, so we can just again hit collect map and stop scanning, click OK, and then go into camera settings and make the camera scan faster. EBSD detector should start scanning your sample and you should start seeing some colored map. It also shows you how much time it is going to take. This shows an hour and 18 minutes. It also shows you right here the confidence interval. As long as this bar is green in color, you know your camera settings are okay and your sample prep is also okay. If this bar changes color to yellow, it means that your sample prep could have been better. If it changes color to red, you would want to stop, either reassess your camera settings and or change your sample prep or improve your sample. So we are just going to wait for an hour or so until we get this scan. One more quick thing to note here, if you want to see how your EBSD patterns look like, you can click this button right here. If you click that button, as it is scanning each point on the sample, it should show what kind of Kikuchi patterns it is generating. You can also see the orientation schematic right here. It just shows this tube and how each point on the sample is oriented. This is what a finished scan should look like. After you have finished the scan, you can then go into report, hit send to OIM A, and it should open up this window right here. You can click on all data and get an IPF map. This is essentially going to be the same map that you saw earlier. You can do several things here. You can either right click on this, do a cleanup of the data. Typically the kind of cleanup that I like to do is just do grain dilation and just do one iteration for grain dilation. If I hit OK, it will smooth out a bit of the data that you had before. So again, go to all data, get an IPF map. You can see it's slightly smoother than it was before. I just like to partition the data. So all the bad points collected wherever on your sample, if there was low index value, you can click that, and for auto partitioning, you can just hit this button. And it will generate all this data. It will have an auto IPF map, and it will also give you a grain size distribution in your sample. The average grain size, as you can see in this sample, is 10.52 micron, and there is a whole bunch of other data that you can then access. This is the misorientation angle graph in your sample. All of this data is accessible if you right click here. You can export this. If you want these images to be saved, you can click on any of these images, right click, go to image, you can hit save image, hit OK here, and save the image in whichever folder you want with whatever name you want to put to it. Hit save, and once this is saved, you can access the image just like you would access any other image on a computer. After you have done with your data analysis and saving the images, you can also save the project so that you can access this data offline without having to access the SCM. So you can just go to save project as, again save the project with whatever name you want to save it, and click save. Once the project is saved, you can close the OIM analysis software. Now that we are done with all the data analysis, we have to back out the detector. The way to do that is to go to camera position tab, hit retract. Once you hit that, you should hear your camera backing out. You can also see it backing out in the CCD camera on the SCM computer. After the detector has completely retracted, you can close this window. Now that we are done analyzing our sample, we have closed the window on the EBSD computer. We can go to scan, hit full frame, which will get us out of the external scanning mode, and we can bring back our sample to 0 degrees. So I will go to the positioning tab. In tilt, I will just make it 0. This step has to be done only after the detector has been retracted, so that we are 100% sure that the sample during changing the tilt is not going to hit the detector. After we are done with that, we can press the HV button, which will switch off the HV, and then we can hit vent, hit yes here, and we will now open the nitrogen valve. Once the chamber is vented, we will just open the chamber, close the nitrogen valve, and then take out our sample. For that, we will use this wrench. Undo the set screw and take the sample out. Replace this stage for the next user. So we will just unscrew our EBSD stage and put this stage back in. There are two bolts here that need to be tightened. You just have to find the threaded holes and just tighten the bolt. Once we install the bigger stage, we can then install these two as well. Use the set screw to just make it snug, and after that we close the chamber and hit pump on the SEM computer. After the chamber is pumped and this icon is green, we can log out of the software, click the stop button, or we can go to file and hit exit. We just hit the stop button after that on the XT microscope server, close this and log out of the computer. We went over the whole process of how to use the FEI-SEM for EBSD analysis. If you have any questions or concerns, or if the system is not operating the way it is supposed to, feel free to contact Dr. Jacek Jashinsky